So this past month was probably one of the most fulfilling months of my career so far. I got to shoot one of my dream projects, Anime NYC, do back-to-back conventions, and design a few 3D prints and models that help optimize my workflow. I wanted to share it here partially to document it for myself, as this is really a month that I want to remember, but also for anyone curious about how I balance work and also 3D printing. If you're new here, my name is Jackie. I'm a videographer, photographer based in New York, Brooklyn. Recently, I've fallen into the rabbit hole of 3D printing and product design, which this channel is kind of a combination of both worlds. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to follow for more. Let's do it. So the first project I want to talk about is Anime NYC. So Anime NYC is the biggest convention center, I'd argue, throughout the East Coast. This year, I believe there was like 150,000 people, which was insane. So I've been going as a fan for years, ever since I first discovered what it was. I think 2-3 years ago, I reached out, basically said, hey, I'd love to work with you guys in an official capacity doing media for photo and video. Within the 2-3 years, I've maintained contact, asking every year, seeing where they were at. And this year, they finally give us a chance to showcase what we can do. I can talk about this for hours on end in terms of like planning to the days, to the finish. To keep this video short and simple, I won't get into that. But I did want to talk about, which links into 3D printing, is organization. One thing that we were supposed to deliver every day was daily sizzle reels for their social media accounts. Basically highlighting the day in terms of what happened, the energy, how many people were there, and creating this sort of like FOMO effect. You're missing out if you don't come tomorrow, or you missed out if you didn't come at all. To be able to do that and be able to make that every single day, we created a system, basically allowed us to have people running around all day and then one person stay behind editing throughout the day. By nighttime, they would have a video ready. And this was a huge challenge just logistically to make sure it was possible. One thing that enabled that to happen was the passing of SD cards. So SD cards, if you don't know what they are, kind of look like this. And essentially, it's just like a small card that holds all your photos and videos in. You'd have to be passing along them every so often, or I would get footage really late in the day and not have time to edit. There wasn't really a gap between, shooting and then editing. It's kind of concurrent. And to be able to make that happen, you're passing along 5 to 10 SD cards a day. And that causes a lot of back and forth. It was a lot. And honestly, throughout the day, sometimes it became really messy to the point where I had to double check or triple check that things weren't being missed. One thing to avoid that in the future that I made after the event, of course, was this little tray. This little tray was 3D printed. I designed it myself, but essentially it's like a 2-compartment tray. And what it is, it has a green and a red section. Ideally, what would happen is you would have people who would need to switch SD cards. If it's full, they have footage in there that I need to put into a hard drive, a physical drive, then they would put it in the red section. Then I would know that I have to pass this along. Once I pass it and it's ready to be wiped and be used again for the photographers and videographers, I'll put that on the green section. They'll know that, okay, I can take from the green. Yeah, just makes organization a little bit easier. And I designed this kind of white shell. I put some rubber backings on it so it doesn't move around on the table. These kind of trays compartments are removable and then attachable. Let's say my desk was vertical, works better. I could put it vertically like this, or I could put it horizontally, or I want to switch the order, or one day I have different, colors that I want to use. It's kind of like multifunctional that I can slot in and out. And another reason I did this was so it wouldn't waste too much filament. I could print something completely in white, completely in green, completely in red. Of course, this takes more time to do, but it wastes much less filament because it's not switching every layer or so. Since I'm only printing 1 or 2, time is not really a problem for me. I'm not mass producing this. So the second project I want to talk about is GopherCon. GopherCon is a fan convention about Go, which is a coding language that have really big fans, actually. I was surprised to learn that there was such a tight and enthusiastic community about Go. My role in all of these projects is essentially creating photo and video for 2 main use cases for these companies. For their back-end internal use, so this may be for their sales decks, their pitch decks, showcase how many people there were, making that convention and their team look really good in terms of how they planned everything and the turnout and whatnot. The second part is creating social media assets for their team. For example, they might use these pictures to post on Instagram, on Facebook, and then the videos we make might be on Reels or YouTube Shorts. The most important part that I believe in these kind of projects is planning. Planning is everything. Basically mapping out schedules, angles of shots, you know, even like lunch breaks down to the nitty-gritty minutes. It's very important to have everything mapped out, because what I've realized is once you go into these sort of events, it's really hard to plan out things afterwards. You're not really gonna have time to sit down and think about, oh, this went wrong. So it's really important to just have everything pre-planned, and then even have contingency plans over contingency plans. And to that note about organization, the next 3D print I wanted to mention is something that also helps with my organization. I feel like all my 3D prints are organization prints now. Basically, this is my bag for going on photography, videography gigs. Usually I take one bag and then kind of like a cart. And the way that it's organized is kind of like this. You have different slots. This is the grid layout to my camera bodies and my lenses and everything I don't want to lose and has to stay with me. One thing that I put in here usually, these are camera cleaning tools essentially. But usually with these little nit bits, in terms of my camera packaging, I just kind of keep them in like one slot. And it's just like this. Like it's loose, it doesn't look that good. When you need it, sometimes you just kind of like dig around for it when you have more stuff. And that's where I designed something for that. This printed today, so there's still some problems with this that I have to fix. But I wanted to design a case that was kind of like this. And it has fittings inside for the cleaning gear. This is kind of the main holding. It fits the blowy thing, the brush tool, and then it fits this multi-tool right here. So basically it just fits like this. You can kind of also put this on a table, so then when you're at a press room, whatever, and someone needs it or you need it, it's just a very easy grab, and then you use it, whatever, and then you can just put it back. Now, after it finished printing, I realized I designed it a little too short. Here's like a little bit of a gap. So hopefully I can fix that in the next print, which I probably will. It's not too hard of a fix. But essentially the idea is you have something like this, throw it in your bag, and then you always know where it is, all your tools are, and it's super easy to get. I ended up printing one of the caps with 100% infill, so it's super heavy. This actually ended up being a really good like at-home storage situation, and it just kind of sits like this, so whenever I need it, it's right here. Much more organized and still very useful. Recently, as you know, I just finished printing and designing the Forma lamp behind me. I decided to call it the Forma lamp. I'm working on a separate project, which is essentially a hanger for my dirty clothes. I don't know if this happens to you or you have this similar problem, but there's clothes that I feel like aren't ready for the wash. So then I can't put them in the wardrobe with all my clean clothes, but at the same time, I don't really want to put them on the floor or anything like that. I'm trying to design something that I can hang, like it's attached to the wall, it pulls down, and then it can hang clothes that aren't too heavy. It's just a few garments here and there that they're not clean, they're not dirty, and I want to use them a few more times before I put them in the wash. But what do you think? What type of projects are you working on right now? I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. If you made it this far into video, thank you so much for watching until the end. If you liked it, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more. It really does help this channel and helps me a lot. Yeah, if you want to see anything specific from behind the scenes, or you want to see just more projects coming up, feel free to let me know and I'd love to talk about it. But until then, hope you have a great day or night, and I'll see you next time.